After a day in the hospital, they diagnosed him with salmonella. But whereas salmonella typically takes a few days to a week to recover from, this gecko gobbler began to rapidly decline, from vomiting green bile to even having black urine. Worse yet, his lungs began to fill with some sort of fluid, and his belly was so swollen that he looked heavily pregnant. And as if his suffering couldn't get any more gruesome, even his testicles reportedly swelled to the size of grapefruits and began leaking fluid.
Hey y'all, what is up? What is good? Ghost Squad, how are y'all doing? Today, Black Ghostface is here to do the next embarrassingly dumb ways people died. Now, it's been a while since I did, number 20. But now I've found out 21 is out. Can't wait to see how dumb this gets. Cannot wait to see how dumb this gets. But, ladies and gentlemen, I want to let y'all know, stay tuned. Ghost Squad, stay tuned for Dispatch. Since Dispatch has won the poll vote, you will be seeing me stream Dispatch on my gaming channel. But without any further ado, let's dive in to see part 21 of Embarrassingly Dumb Ways People Died by Be Amazed.
From the guy who got so drunk that he flew a helicopter and crashed it into a hotel, to the woman who went live on Facebook whilst driving and live-streamed her own death. Stay tuned for more Darwin Award winners.
It's been a while.
I don't know much, but if there's one thing I do know, it's that drunkenness rarely results in good ideas. Let's just say we don't talk about what happened between me and Cheryl from accounting at the 2023 Christmas party. Anywho, drunken tales don't come much worse than this first story. It was 2024 and a 23-year-old New Zealander had just landed a promotion while working at an Australian helicopter company. As you can imagine, the good news called for a celebratory drink. However, one drink led to another and the guy wound up so drunk that he had to be put to bed by his colleagues. Now, it's at this point that most of us would simply pass out. Though alas, this guy considered it to be the perfect time to fly a helicopter.
No!
I'm not kidding.
No.
What is important to note is that the guy did have a pilot's license back in New Zealand, but just wasn't permitted to fly in Australia. So it's not as if he was a complete amateur. That being said, taking liftoff is hardly a great idea on a stomach full of beer. Nevertheless, the drunken pilot somehow managed to gain access to one of the helicopters at his work and took to the sky. He reportedly hovered over a no-fly zone in the central business district of Queensland before taking a crash landing into a Hilton hotel. As you can probably imagine, he died. On the bright side, he somehow managed to avert seriously injuring or killing anyone else, which, given that he was recklessly wielding an aircraft, is a miracle. It's tragic and yet could have been avoided entirely had he not been so terminally stupid. Smell that? Yep, smells like a Darwin Award winner to me. As you can tell by looking at me, I'm not exactly a regular at the gym. And after hearing this next morbid tale, well, I'm hardly in a rush to join one either.
Okay.
Our story takes place in China
did something
back in
a little different.
2023,
Usually be
where
like,
a 27-year-old
the
personal
intro
trainer
and
was
all
pumping
that.
some iron at the gym. Completely alone in the gym and with no one to spot him, the guy ambitiously attempted to bench press a mighty 220 pounds. Only it soon became clear that his eyes were bigger than his muscles as he struggled to lift the weight.
No.
Things quite literally got out of hand when the barbell slammed down and crushed the guy's neck, stopping airflow and causing him to suffocate. And as if the situation wasn't horrifying enough, he was filming his set, meaning he literally captured his own death in graphic detail. Obviously, I'm not going to do a Logan Paul and show a dead guy on YouTube, but viewers of the video described how after the weight dropped, his body violently convulsed before deflating into a deathly limp state. It's a harrowing tale and yet a stark reminder to always be safe and sensible when lifting weights. You should always lift what your muscles can handle, not what your ego wishes they could handle.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why the only thing I lift are these Darwin Awards when I'm handing them out to fools like him. Though I must admit, the real prize is my Darwin Awards themed poster.
Okay, so here's the question. If you ever, just like I said, if you ever go to a gym, yeah, sure, you could do some, weights and all that. Don't be like Batman. Don't be like Batman, be lifting 300 plus pounds, thinking that, I gotta get ripped, I gotta get shredded. right, gotta go to the beach. You know what I mean? Summer's coming up. But you're gonna do a don't lift weights without a spotter, kids. Kids, don't try this. Don't try this at a gym by yourself. Don't try this. Don't try to lift without a spotter, thinking you all that. All right, you got nothing to prove. Especially you going live. Imagine you going live doing this. Don't do it. All right. Don't think that, oh, I saw this guy do it. He failed. Now I'm going to do it, but in a different way to where I'm learning from this. No, don't do it. Don't do it in general.
Called Natural Selection in Action, showcasing a whopping 75 real-life scenarios from this very series. There's something new to discover at every glance. It's available right now on my merch store, linked in the description, so go grab it now while stock lasts. But from a fitness fiend to a junk food junkie, this next story is less about going out with a bang and more about going out with a mukbang. For those who don't know, mukbanging is a social media trend where people consume gross amounts of junk food all in the name of entertainment. And it turns out that gouging calorific quantities like this on a regular basis can cause health complications. Who'd have thought? With a TikTok following only just larger than his pant size, a 24-year-old Turkish man would stream his daily junk food binges to his audience of over 183.
Let's examine this. Let's examine everything we see here, kids. What do you see? Oh, I see, let's see, a man about maybe 400 pounds, just from the face alone. See him eating a taco. Oh, I see a cake, ice cream, popcorn. Look like, what they call those, chicken pops or something. I see a donut, a sprinkle donut. I see chicken legs, like no, not chicken legs. So two chicken wings. Look like two large French fries. Is that? Oh wait, two donuts actually. So, I spotted two donuts. Yep. So we got like a pinkish donut and a blue. Look like a like a blueberry glazed donut and a pink berry, whatever it is, glazed donut. Is that a bowl? That's a whole bowl right there. Steak look like it has not been cooked at all. A hot dog and look like Funyuns that right there at the bottom. So let me get this straight. You got a whole birthday cake right there. That's a whole birthday cake. That is a whole birthday cake right there. You would think that, oh, you know how you get a whole box of pizza for yourself? You know the large box of pizza? You know you're not going to eat all of that. You're going to get full. Maybe eating half now and half like later or something. Sure, but you got a whole birthday cake. A bowl of whatever that is, some raw steak, two large fries, two donuts, two chicken wings, maybe two Funyuns, and I don't know what that is at the bottom, but sir, you got a whole taco right there too, and a bag of popcorn, which I presume must be chicken pops. Yeah, he go dieting all that.
1,000 followers. As he feasted on thousands of calories per day, he became so morbidly obese that he could no longer care for himself and even struggled to breathe, among many other health issues. As a matter of fact, the Calorie King spent the latter 3 months of his life in the hospital due to unspecified weight-related issues. And well, by March 2025, it
legit
was the
pregnant, but to have a baby.
mukbanger as he passed away in the hospital. His official cause of death remains a mystery to the public, but it's not hard to imagine how the years of extreme gluttony likely took their toll and caused his system to shut down. And while it was his choice to not seek help, we have to question his loved ones who enabled this. But hey, it was totally worth it for the views, right? 2007. People still used iPods.
Just play
No one was
games,
actually
or
liked. I still
do
had
I
my
do
hair. More
React?
importantly, the Nintendo Wii was hot off the press and
That's
all the
healthy.
rage. Millennials were entranced by its motion sensor magic that allowed us to play tennis in our living rooms and would do anything to get our hands on one. Apparently, even die for one. It all began with a U.S. radio station, KDND-FM, hosting a competition with a prized Nintendo Wii at stake. The competition was aptly named Wii for a Wii, with the premise being that the 18 participants would have to drink 250 milliliter bottle of water in 2 minutes. They would then have to drink one more bottle every 10 minutes. Whoever lasted the longest and resisted the urge to go pee would take home the Wii. Keen to get her hands on one for her 3 children, a 28-year-old mom who took part was thought to have guzzled somewhere between 5 and 9 liters of water. Despite this, she unfortunately didn't win the Wii, but that was soon to be the least of her worries.
Okay.
You see, it seems no one organizing or participating in this competition considered the possibility of water intoxication. While there is no set amount of water that causes water intoxication, it's easier to think about in terms of how much water a person's kidneys can process per hour. For a healthy adult, this is around 1 liter per hour. Drink excessively more than this and it'll dilute the sodium in your bloodstream and cause cells to swell. This is why professionals typically recommend an adult to drink around 2 liters per day for healthy levels of hydration. So you can imagine that having drank potentially 9 liters of water in such a short time, this woman was at dangerous levels of intoxication. After the competition, she suddenly fell ill and called in sick for her shift later that day. And well, within 5 hours, she was found dead. It's a tragic story, but one that would have been
trying to be
entirely
a water
preventable had
balloon?
someone along the line had the foresight to see just how dangerous this was. You may not have won the Wii, but you know what you did win? Yep, that's right. You won a Darwin Award. Yay!
Yay!
In a world of Kardashians, it's never been more fashionable to have a big booty. And hey, as a man with 2 working eyes, who am I to complain if women want to have bigger butts? However, as my grandma always said, always make sure your butt implant doctor has a medical license, darling. She was a very strange lady. Now, the 31-year-old New York woman of whom our story revolves around had actually already had a successful butt implant procedure, but grew tired of all the junk in her trunk and sought to have the implants removed. The only trouble was she was on a bit of a budget, so instead of visiting a legitimate clinic, she made the not-so-wise decision to visit an unlicensed surgeon's home in New York.
Hi, everybody!
Just let that sink in for a moment. The woman willingly let an unlicensed surgeon perform surgery on her in his home. Like many a Darwin Award winner before her, the woman didn't have the foresight to see how this could be a potentially deadly endeavor and
I got better ways to
in
do
the
it.
rookie surgeon's hands. As the procedure began, the wannabe surgeon administered the woman with lidocaine, which is a common local anesthetic used to numb the area. Things were going swimmingly until it became apparent that he'd overdosed the woman, causing her to go into cardiac arrest. Immediately rushed to the real hospital, medics found the woman in a state of no brain activity, and she was later pronounced dead as a result of suspected lidocaine toxicity. While the creepy unlicensed doctor was arrested and charged for his crimes, I can't help but think none of this would have happened had someone had the street smarts to not get open butt surgery from a novice surgeon at his sketchy home. I'm starting to think people want my precious Darwin Awards. Across the pond in the UK, our British cousins
Ladies, I hope you are learning from this. I'm sure for those of you ladies who've seen this part of the video, I hope y'all learn from this. Like, don't. I can understand having a surfboard but is not attractive and all that. I totally understand that. I do. I mean, a guy seeing a woman be flexing her butt no matter how flat it is, just try to get some attention. Oh yeah, sure. I mean, cause you see your butt is like this, but you see that woman's butt over there like straight up freaking balloons. Like, you know what I mean? Balloons. Like, oh my God. Don't be what they have. Don't try to get what they have. It's not a competition. It's not a race. Okay? Someone's gonna accept your surfing bird booty no problem. I mean, there's guys out there to where flat booty, yes. Even though badonkadonk, yes, is like, always first place and all that. There are other ways to enhance the cheeks. There are other ways, There are other ways. Working out, yeah. There are other ways, But that no, that is not the way. That is not the way to enhance your butt cheeks. Just so guys and possibly gals can be rubbernecking when when you walk by. No, that is not the way. There's a better way for this. A much healthier, non-financial way to enhance, upgrade, digivolve your butt cheeks. Much better way.
Have this bizarre thing known as free healthcare. However, for the most part, getting these appointments can be tough. So when a British man couldn't get a dentist appointment, he took matters into his own hands. It was 2024 and the 52-year-old had been plagued by the agonizing pain of a wisdom tooth and could no longer bear the pain.
They just mess up your
when he couldn't
teeth
get an
even more.
NHS dental appointment, he grabbed a pair of rusty old pliers and had at it himself.
So he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Needless to explain why this was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
With such little regard for hygiene, the resulting wound became infected and caused him to contract sepsis, aka blood poisoning. And with that, he was on a one-way trip to the graveyard. It's one thing to DIY your backyard patio, but to DIY your own dentistry? Yeah, I'd say it's always best to leave that to the professionals. If you can cast your mind back to 2016, you might remember Facebook launching Facebook.
So I do notice the sudden change in BMAs, because usually whenever like a segment is done, that'd be a whole new segment. So, hey, but I want to talk about how much I hate the dentist, and I know I'm not the only one that hates going to the dentist, because I swear it's like for those that go to the dentist. And for those that be seeing them having the drill and they, I'm telling you right now, it's like you want to just straight up just pull out a whole knuckle and just bow. Yeah, you're not doing that. You're not doing that, because like when you hear that drill and you just hear it drilling on your tooth, oh man, your body just started fidgeting like you're in a horror movie. Like you thinking, oh, I'm just repairing your teeth. Right? Little here, little there, little drill here, drill there. But like in a horror movie, it's like, I'm going to literally impale your gums with this drill. That's what it's like. It feels like it. It's almost like a construction site, when they, you know what I mean? It feels like that. Like, it's like there has to be another way to where, hey, is there a way to where, hey, listen, dog, I got a cavity right here. Do you think you could help me with that? Like, is there like a certain over-the-counter medicine, pill, liquid medication to take to, get rid of that instead of you drilling my teeth? And it costs so much money, because if you don't have insurance, woo! Gonna cost an arm, a leg, and maybe, just maybe, a spine. A whole spine. Just to cover it. Because, man, going to the dentist it's never fun. It's never fun. It's not. And I feel bad for the ones that be having to have, they need braces. For the ones that have to continuous to go. Like, it's just terrible. It just, moral story, it's terrible to go to the dentist.
Live, a way of live streaming to Facebook.
But I'll be raw Van Dam if I'm going to take a tooth out the old-fashioned way, the hard way.
2017, and as all perfectly safe stories begin, two young women from the Czech Republic were speeding dangerously down the highway at over 74 miles per hour. Clearly too cool for school, the girls thought what better time to go live on Facebook and show off their road shenanigans. Talking to the camera, giggling, and completely distracted from the road, it probably comes as no surprise that the girls soon lost control of the car and plowed into a road barrier. And the worst part, it was all posted live to Facebook. With the car totaled and the girls unconscious, the phone somehow survived the impact and continued to stream the aftermath of their stupidity. Shockingly, the driver, while in a critical condition, actually managed to survive. The same, however, couldn't be said for the passenger who literally live-streamed her own departure from Earth. I mean, if that doesn't get the likes, I don't know what will. On the bright side, their idiocy didn't miraculously inflict injury on anyone else, so I feel no guilt in saying they got exactly what they had coming to them. Have you ever thought it'd be a good idea to dance on top of a moving truck?
No.
Yeah, me neither. And yet here we are with a story about some numbskull who chose to do exactly that. Our story takes place in 2022 in Texas, where a 25-year-old grown man snuck his way onto the top of an 18-wheeler unbeknownst to the driver. It was there that he decided to film himself dancing, all the while the truck was moving. It's unclear whether this was just a display of absolute insanity, desperation for TikTok views, or all of the above.
Why? Even if this was a fake story, even if this never happened at all, why? I can see people actually doing this too. Like, oh man, making videos is not getting enough clicks. I need to do something extremely stupid to get the clicks. Hey guys, guess what? I'm gonna jump off the Empire State Building. I got me a parachute. I'm gonna be skydiving. Woo! I'm live! Check me out! You know what I mean? Here's where I'm gonna be landing at right there! And then it turns out, oh no! The parachute's not working! Oh no! I'm about to fall! Work, darn you! And you end up splatting. Like a fly getting splatted on the wall. Like, why do people do things like this? Like, why? What? Like, here's an option. Here's an idea for you. Hey, I'm gonna go to, let's say, an animal cafe. Well, I don't know, like a cat, dog, petting zoo, and stream myself petting animals, feeding animals. You know what I mean? Like, make a cat video, or video in general of you feeding animals. People would love to see that, you feeding an animal. You playing with an animal or something. Hey, I'm going to feed the gators, Boom, there you go. Something to where people love animal videos, right? So, make a video of yourself feeding a wild animal. Go to the zoo. Boom. You know what I mean? Feed an animal. There you go. Something. But no, let me dance on top of a truck. Let me do the gritty on top of a moving truck. So I'm guessing the driver doesn't even notice it at all. He doesn't feel it because, driving, the vibration. But someone dancing on top of the truck, I wouldn't even know.
His one-man party, however, was soon crashed when the truck passed under a bridge and knocked the man from his stage. As you can probably imagine, the impact of the bridge and fall, heightened by the speed of the truck, did quite a number on the guy, and he was later pronounced dead at the hospital.
I can imagine.
I guess it's fair to say he at least died doing what he loved.
Yeah.
Back in 2013, Oxford Dictionary's named selfie as its word of the year. And it's pretty accurate considering
I'm gonna say that was in first place.
Selfie mad. So much so, it seems some selfie addicts will stop at nothing to get the perfect snap. It was 2025 and a 53-year-old Russian woman was traveling in Sri Lanka. Aboard a train passing through the countryside, the woman was so enchanted by the views of Sri Lanka that she decided to take a quick selfie. And what better place to get the perfect snap than hanging your entire body from the train's footboard? I can't see any way this would end terribly. But as the woman occupied herself with getting just the right angle, she somehow missed the giant rock ahead that would send her flying from the train and into an early grave. Her dying words were, "Make sure you post my selfie to Facebook." I know Disney movies might make animals seem all cute and funny, but it's important to remember that wild animals are, nevertheless, wild. And as such, I can tell you that befriending one of them probably isn't
easy,
such
kitty.
a great idea.
I just
In
want to
2005, a
pet
South
you while I take
African
a
farmer
selfie.
discovered a 5-month-old baby hippo washed up in a river. But rather than handing it over to the professionals or releasing it into the wild, he decided to adopt the wild animal and raise it as a pet. He even went as far as to christen the hippo with the name Humphrey.
Humphrey?
Over the years, the two formed a close bond, with the farmer even claiming that he saw Humphrey like a son. They would play with each other, and the farmer would even ride on the hippo's back. But despite claiming his hippo pal was a lovable, gentle giant, others weren't quite convinced, including the farmer's wife, who spoke of how Humphrey had chased an old man and his grandchild up a tree where they were stuck for 2 hours. In fact, it was reported that Humphrey would regularly break out of his enclosure and aggressively chase down golfers at the nearby golf club. And well, considering that hippos are known to be one of the most dangerous animals in the world and are responsible for fatally savaging around 500 people per year, it's hardly surprising that Humphrey had aggressive tendencies. Despite the very clear warning signs, the farmer maintained that Humphrey was safe and kept him around. That was until one fatal day in 2011. The so-called gentle giant finally turned on his master and savaged him in the very same river of which he'd been found 6 years prior. It's almost Shakespearean. I would bow out with some advice about not befriending wild hippos, but I don't think anyone else is actually stupid enough to do such a thing. As if...
On one hand, I can understand that a baby hippo, yeah, it's adorable, right? But give it a few years, it's not gonna be adorable anymore. It's not. Like, I've seen people adopt like a lion, a tiger, possibly a bear. Oh my! But a hippo, that's the first time I've ever seen someone adopt a hippo and just going rampant. You know what I mean? Like, I don't wanna. I would have like like you said, take it to a professional or lead it back into the wild. A hippo? No, I'm good. I'm good. I mean, like maybe a koala, sure. Maybe I don't know, a raccoon. I mean, sure, but a hippo. Top 10 most dangerous animals you do not want to be around. They're like top 10. Top 10, like legit top 10. I mean, you don't want to be chased by a hippo. I mean, bruh, it's like you need a chair to like keep it back or something, or so maybe something bigger. But a hippo, nah. I mean, it's like, I think hippos have the most powerful jaws in the world compared to like a T-Rex or something. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, they can literally crush a watermelon, okay? With their jaws, okay? But you want to adopt one? Yeah, not the best idea, good sir.
Public transport couldn't be any more torturous. You've somehow been unfortunate enough to sit next to someone tucking into some stinky
crying
grub.
baby.
But if that sounds like your idea of hell, you won't believe this next story. You see,
Okay.
according to reports, it can be fairly common over in Pakistan for train commuters with a low income to bring their own small gas stoves onto the train and cook their meals there. Yep, people not only eating, but bringing open flames onto a train. What could possibly go wrong? Despite this being against the rules for obvious health and safety reasons, in 2019, 2 of these stoves exploded on a train and set it into flames. Immediately engulfed by fire, innocent passengers' lives were tragically claimed. A staggering 71 to be precise, along with an additional 43 who were injured, 11 of whom were in critical conditions. I can only hope that the 2 jackasses with stoves were included in that mortality so that I can give them their well-deserved Darwin Awards. So next time you're on a public transport and you've sat next to someone gouging on a meatball marinara, you might just consider yourself lucky. How much would you commit to a dare? Would you risk your life for a dare?
Nope.
If you answered no, then congratulations, you're probably not an absolute idiot. If you answered yes, well, you could be on your way to a Darwin Award, just like this next fella. You see, during the holiday period,
how
there's no better
stupid can this
excuse to
be?
have a few drinks and get merry. However, over in Australia back in 2019, one man took it too far. The 35-year-old father of 3 was known to be the life of the party and would never turn down a dare. So much so that when a boozy dare called for him to eat a live gecko, the good sport grabbed the gecko and tossed it down his gullet. I'm still not sure on whether this was
Gary?
pet Gary the gecko or just one found outside. After all, this is Australia. But in either case, I think most of us can see why this probably wasn't such a wise idea. And while despite fulfilling the dare, the glory was short-lived. Only 2 days after his gecko snack, the guy was rushed to hospital after complaining of agonizing stomach cramps. Medics initially dismissed his symptoms as merely gastrointestinal issues, but after a day in the hospital, they diagnosed him with salmonella. But whereas salmonella typically takes a few days to a week to recover from, this gecko gobbler began to rapidly decline, from vomiting green bile to even having black urine. Worse yet, his lungs began to fill with some sort of fluid and his belly was so swollen that he looked heavily pregnant. And as if his suffering couldn't get any more gruesome, even his testicles reportedly swelled to the size of grapefruits and began leaking fluid. He wasn't feeling the Christmas cheer so much anymore, right? But after 10 grueling days of essentially rotting from the inside out, the battle was finally over. Although doctors confirmed that it was entirely possible that the gecko was to blame for his death, there was a little bit of discourse about whether or not he actually ate the gecko, as friends and family couldn't remember if they actually saw him eat it or not. I mean, they could have just asked him whilst he was alive. Just an idea. I, however, am going to assume he did eat the gecko because I already got his name engraved on the Darwin Award, and that stuff ain't cheap. Despite being...
That's the winner right there. That's the winner right there. I dare you to eat a live gecko. I mean, I'll be like this. Here's an alternate solution to this. I dare you to eat a gecko. All right, going to chop it up, cook it and everything, and yeah, eat it. Yeah, but no, eat a live gecko. Why would I want to eat a live gecko? Why would I want to eat a live gecko? The fact that his testicles swelled up into the size of maybe what? Bowling balls and start leaking green? Oh, no. Doc. Hey, Doc. Pull the plug on me. Pull the plug on me. Like, just days of suffering. Looking pregnant. Vomiting. Pissing black urine. Pull the plug. Pull the plug on me. I'm done. Salmonella. Nah. Pull the plug on me. I don't want to suffer anymore. Just pull the plug. That's it. The fact that I don't know what. I think the testicles that was leaking green was probably like the over the limit. Pissing black urine? Black? Nah. There are things in this world that we have never heard before that will probably blow our fucking minds. Like, seriously. I've never heard of that before. Black urine? Vomiting? Sure. Eat something bad, you throw up. I'm thinking in my head, this gecko, still alive, right? Still alive. Probably eating his insides. That's why I'm thinking that was going to be happening. Like, this gecko was eating his insides, but this gecko could have been poisonous, right? Could have been poisonous. It wouldn't even matter. It's just, some animals that's not even poison, it's just their skin. Nah. Black urine, leaking green liquid from your testicles.
Packed with sugar, sweeteners, and all other types of processed ingredients, we're all guilty of indulging in a bit too much candy from time to time. However, for those with a particular taste for licorice, limited consumption might not only be cavity-saving, but life-saving too. For one 54-year-old construction worker from Massachusetts, he couldn't get enough of the candy, particularly licorice. As a matter of fact, it's what made up essentially his entire diet. The licorice lover would gobble the stuff day in, day out, rarely making time for proper food and meals. Now, there's a ton of obvious reasons as to why this is a terrible way to live, but licorice specifically contains glyceric acid, which, while safe in small amounts, can actually be lethal when consumed excessively. Causing high blood pressure and low potassium levels, it can be especially dangerous for those with pre-existing heart or kidney conditions. Nevertheless, the guy continued with his licorice love affair that was until one fatal day. While shockingly eating an actual meal in a fast food restaurant, he suddenly passed out and was rushed to the hospital. It was there the following day that his candy cruise came to an end. But remember, folks, no matter how you choose to live your life, you will die sooner or later, in which case you might as well just give up, because nothing has any meaning. I'm sorry. I don't know what got into me there. Let's move on. On to something a little more lighthearted now, and we all love a good joke.
Wow,
if you think
really
about some of the funniest jokes you've ever heard, you probably laughed a lot, maybe even cried. Perhaps you lost your breath and your stomach began to hurt. However, if you're watching this video, I'm going to assume you didn't die. Hysterically, this is said to be the cause of death for one Greek Stoic philosopher, Chrysippus. The killer joke, in all senses of the word? Well, after he observed that a donkey had eaten all of his figs, Chrysippus said something to the effect of, "Give it some wine to drink." I guess you had to be there. Clearly tickled by the idea of a fig-full donkey sipping on some wine, Chrysippus's own joke sent him into a violent fit of laughter, so much so, he dropped dead. It almost sounds too crazy to be true, and that's because it might well be, considering the tale has been translated and interpreted across two millennia. In either case, I'll be sure to see the joke
die laughing, but
at some point or another, most of us have probably taken it too far when it comes to drinking, which can often result in some embarrassing situations. Cheryl, if you're watching this, I didn't mean to call you 47 times last Thursday. In any case, you can at least be grateful that you're probably not as stupid as this next guy. This story takes place in China back in 2023, where a work team were out having a team building dinner event. Loosened up by a few woo-woos, the boss proposed a drinking challenge. Whoever could outdrink him would win 20,000 yuan, about $2,700. If they lost, they would have to pay $1,300 to treat the entire company. The stakes were high, but one of the workers accepted the challenge, a decision that would soon prove to be regretful. The money-hungry fool got to guzzling a Chinese liquor known as baijiu, which can have an alcohol content of up to 60%. Despite this, the guy proceeded to chug through an entire liter of the stuff in just 10 minutes. For context, this would have been give or take about 26 units of alcohol. The weekly recommendation is 14 units, and drinking more than 12 units over a short period of time is enough to cause alcohol poisoning. As you can imagine, his excessive drinking was far from a glorious victory, considering that he eventually collapsed from the intoxication. Rushed to hospital, he was diagnosed with severe alcohol poisoning, aspiration, pneumonia, suffocation, and cardiac arrest, all of which resulted in his death. I mean, at least the 20,000 yuan he won could be put towards his funeral costs. Totally worth it, right? If you're anything like me, you're probably very content tucked up in your jammies with a tub of Haagen-Dazs and a few episodes of Sex and the City.
Yum!
It's stories like this next one that give me all the more reason to stay safe inside. Alaska, 2023, and a group of adventure-seeking pals were trekking along the Turnagain mudflats. Now, for anyone who doesn't already know, mudflats are expansive areas of soft, muddy ground in what are known as intertidal zones, aka parts of the shore that are sometimes exposed when the tide is low. As a result, the silty mud becomes very moist and unstable and can even behave like quicksand. Worse yet, the Turnagain mudflats in Alaska are specifically known to be extremely dangerous, with experts warning people to not venture onto them under any circumstance.
Here we go.
Safety schmafety, thought this group of schmucks as they strolled on.
You see what I mean? I knew it. I knew it. Every time to be a sign to say warning, danger, do not go in this area. Do not go in this area. It's dangerous. Safety schmafety. Let's go exploring. A bunch of wannabe Dora the Explorers. Oh my god. Alright.
To the mudflats, blissfully unaware that they'd be leaving with one friend less. Ubers soon caught up with them as one of the merry men, a 20-year-old chap, got stuck in the mud. my God! Help me! The group of friends tried to pull the man out to no avail. The emergency services were alerted, but it took them around 50 minutes to arrive, what with the group being in an isolated region. By which point, it was too late. The man had succumbed to the mud flats. It's a chilling story, but alas, entirely avoidable had he and his pals had the smarts to not be there in the first place. Yeah.
At this point, you know what? I know me saying this might sound a little out of control, or maybe too soon, or going too far. But you know what? I wouldn't have saved them. I wouldn't have saved them. Why? Pretty easily. Why? There was a sign, right? There's a sign right there that says, "Do not enter. Dangerous. Warning." Oh, look, got 2 quotation marks with warning. And there's a skull on there, too. Oh, wow. It says a skull on there. That means you could die if you go, past that sign, right? So if I went past that sign, there's a high percentage that I could die, right? So, oh, well, whatever. Hey, come on, guys. Let's go explore over there. What about the sign? What safety schmafety? What ain't that gonna happen to us? They're just exaggerating. Probably some hidden gold over there. Let's go over there and explore and have fun. And turns out you're sinking. It's so muddy that it's literally like quicksand. Like we have literal quicksand, but this mud is so soft, so mushy, so gushy, and it literally feels like quicksand. So even if you try to swim out of there, you can't, because you're sinking. Your weight and you trying to get out of there, you're sinking. So you ignore the sign, you ignore your gut feeling, you disregarded your instincts of survival, and decided to go there anyway. If I'm part of the medical team, I'm gonna let them know it's not worth going out there. If there's signs all around, and you still go in there, nope, it ain't worth it. Like, and it's like this generation. Oh, you don't feel like reading? Oh, and if something bad happens to you, what did we learn? Now, I can understand that they're drunk. That I can understand. If they was drunk, then sure, I'll still go out there. But still, I swear, everything that's dangerous need to just build a wall. Just build a wall. It wouldn't even matter. Some people just go and be stupid regardless.
I think I'll stick to Sex and the City.
It wouldn't
in
even
this
matter.
episode, Carrie has a fling with a younger man. OMG, that is so Carrie. How far would you go to prove a point? To claim the glory of being right? Would you turn a knife on yourself? Probably not. And that's precisely why you're not in a Darwin Awards video. Adamant that the vest he was wearing was stab-proof, a 22-year-old British lad was so determined to prove his naysaying friend wrong that the numbskull grabbed a kitchen knife, turned it on himself, and plunged it into his own chest. And well, it turned out the vest wasn't all that stab-proof after all. Severely impaled, the man was rushed to the hospital, but alas, there was nothing medics could do to save him. I guess that's the price of pride, or in this case, absolute and undoubted stupidity.
You couldn't just, I don't know, take the stab-proof vest off and just tested it out with, like that, stab-proof, right? Oh, nope, it's not stab-proof because it went straight through the vest. Oh, man. I mean, instead of me doing it like that, let me put it on and stab myself to see if it works, right? Genius. Yeah. All right. We got some Darwin Awards. If this was a tournament, this would have been way tougher to decide who won a Darwin Award. But nope, Darwin Award right here. That earned the Darwin Award.
Bees, nature's hard little workers. But while for the most part they might be content bumbling around pollinating and making honey, they pack a mean sting that they're not afraid to use should they feel threatened. Back in 2024, a 75-year-old man from Texas was tired of some trees that were on his land, so he decided to take matters into his own hands. That was, he got behind the wheel of a bulldozer and rammed into the trees. Only trouble was, these trees weren't just home to bees, but Africanized bees, aka killer bees. Known to reside in southern states such as Texas, these angry bees will attack anything or anyone who perceivably threatens their nest. So you can bet that when a bulldozing maniac goes full throttle at their nest, they're gonna react. The enraged swarm of killer bees avalanched the man, stinging him more than 60 times on his face and neck alone. It's unreported exactly how many stings he suffered, but some sources claim it would take more than 1,000 to cause death. And though luckily there was someone there who called 911, it was simply too late, and the tree-trashing oaf was pronounced dead at the scene. I mean, if we consider that the bees likely also died after stinging him, it's kinda even Stevens, right? With epic battles, war enemies, and scary mythical
Darwin
creatures,
Award.
there are plenty of ways to die when gaming.
No, that's not
But
Darwin
what about
Award.
when
He didn't
gaming
know.
is the very thing that causes you to die in real life? Secluded in a dark and dingy room, a young Thai man would spend all hours of the day, every day, gaming at his computer. Rarely stopping to eat and barely stopping to sleep, his parents desperately pleaded with him to change his ways, but there was no getting through to him. However, one evening back in 2019, the gaming addict planned to do an all-night gaming marathon. And while this was hardly anything new to him, amidst the intensity, he suddenly collapsed dead. Tragically, the gamer was found by his father, but it was too late. After examining his body, medics concluded that he'd suffered a stroke, which they believed was a direct result of excessively gaming. As a matter of fact, it's believed that adults under the age of 60 that have increased screen time and lead sedentary lives are more likely to experience strokes. So if you've learned anything from this chilling tale, it's that you should shut that computer and go touch some grass every once in a while. But watch the rest of this video at least, please. Daddy needs those views. Lovers are bound to quarrel. It's a natural part of any relationship. But for one British couple living in Australia, conflicts were a daily occurrence, at least according to their neighbors. However, one evening, the toxic couple's argument was especially volatile, concluding with the woman running out of the room, or so she attempted. You see, she dashed right into some patio doors, which she evidently thought were open, and smashed the glass. Shockingly, the glass severed a vital artery in the woman's arm, causing her to lose a lot of blood. So much so that there was nothing medics could do to save her, and within a day she was pronounced dead. Moral of the story is always watch where you're going, folks, or better yet, don't date people who make you want to run through glass doors.
That's not
Now,
really a
if you were
Darwin
anything like me
Award,
during
you
high
know?
school, you probably would rather
She didn't
have
know.
died than go to gym class. However, for one high school senior, gym class became his place of death after a regrettable mistake. The year was 2013, and a group of high school pals in Georgia were shooting some hoops at the school's gym. As they often would, they placed their sneakers out of the way inside the big rolled-up gym mats. The game was over and the boys cleared off home. That was, all but one, who was left behind completely alone. As he dove headfirst into one of the gym mats to retrieve his sneakers, his body became unexpectedly lodged. It wasn't long before oxygen ran scarce and the guy began to suffocate. Alone and trapped, the guy unfortunately died as a result of his dumb misadventure. If you think about it, he kind of slam dunked himself. Too soon?
Wowee. Hey, that's it for this part of embarrassingly dumb ways people die. But there are some that does not involve having a Darwin Award. There are some, but there's like a few that deserves more than just one Darwin Award. Like you know, the mud pit, dancing on top of a truck, taking a selfie while, you know, trying to take a picture of nature and all. Yeah, stuff like that. Now, the excessive gaming one, that one is kind of in between. I mean, when you're young, yeah, you could stream, you could play games, be on the internet for like, you know, for hours. But again, you gotta leave the house sooner or later. Sooner or later, okay? You know, touch some grass, absorb the sun rays, you know, like Superman or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, go out and experience life. Don't be a shutout. But still, yeah, this was another good one. Oh boy. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Y'all want to stay tuned? Hey, stop the buttons down below and check out my other videos. But stay tuned for those that voted. Yes, I will be doing Dispatch tomorrow on my gaming channel. Going to be diving in to see what Dispatch is all about. I mean, I've seen like the trailer and all, so it seemed like another one of those multiple choice type games. So I'm looking forward to it. So stay tuned for it, because it seems like it's going to be enjoyable. Now, I ain't going to lie. I don't mind multiple choice games. I really don't. I mean, for those who have seen me play Telltale games, you know, so for those who see me play those, yeah. But hope you have a good day, y'all. Stay safe, and I will catch y'all tomorrow.
It was at this moment that he knew. He's done.
I'm just gonna check. I'm just gonna check. I feel safe from running ASMR. Breathing.
Took that ass up!
What's that?
Took that ass up!
What is that?
Took that ass up!
Holy shit!
Bring me that chocolate ass!
Hello?
Tell you, man, that gotta be better. It really good. All this. What happens to the refrigerator? Get back! I have a wrench! I'm not afraid to use it!